Hello and welcome to another episode of The J Show. This is James speaking from Jimmerish FM. The J Show is just a show where I drag anyone on from my life that I can arrange to do so and ask them various questions and dig deep into who they are. This episode we recorded on the 14th of July 2016 is with Alla. She's an actress. I met her at Cinefest Oz in 2015. She was a star of a feature film called Pinch that was screened down there. We originally tried to record an episode of the J Show last year, but I got sick on the day we were meant to do it. And after she helped me on a film project this year in 2016, we finally got around to arranging a time. We met up at Hillary's Boat Harbour in the Minster Widder. So it was a nice sunny day, but it was freezing cold, so we actually ended up recording in a cafe, so you'll hear that atmosphere. She has an interesting background, and we're also recording right in the first big bubble of the Pokemon Go craze, and since Alla is a lifelong Nintendo fan, she tries to explain that to me so I can get some grasp, so people listening to this in the future and you're like, what the hell are they talking about Pokemon Go for? It just got released a week before, so everyone's going crazy about it. Check the show notes. I'll put a link to her Twitter page and a link to her IMDb of Pinch, which I don't think you can see yet, but stay tuned for that. And I hope you enjoy. This is Alla. So who are you?
I'm Alla.
Hi Alla, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Alla is a actress. I actually met her last year, first time. I was at Cinefest Oz. She was there promoting a feature film she was the star of or co-star of.
Yeah, co-star. Lead female. Female lead.
I don't think that was a premiere, but that was one of the first screenings of the film.
Yeah, the first real public screening. So we had our friends and family one, and then Cinefest was kind of our really, really big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinefest Oz, for those who don't know, is sort of a film festival in the southwest of West Australia, and it's quite big for feature films made in WA, because a lot of the other short film festivals around Australia are focused on short films or international films. This one's one of the biggest Australian feature film festivals. It also has some time with the French.
Yeah.
So they have French films there as well, Australian French films. Did you go and see any French films?
No, I didn't get to. We only got there on the day of our screenings, so I didn't get to see any of the others, unfortunately.
All right. And then you just came back?
Yeah.
Yeah, after you're done?
Went to the after party and headed home.
And the reason I also know her is she volunteered to do a reading of one of my screenplays in front of an audience. It was like a live table read. Mm-hmm. We did that a couple of months ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
And so you just turned up and you had to read this screenplay. Did you read it, my screenplay, in front of an audience? It's like live table read. It helps me as a writer hear what the actors, how they interpret the script and get some feedback from the audience, or the audience feedback isn't that helpful because you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I guess let's go back to Pinch. How did you get involved in Pinch? It's a short film set around the Kwinana, and a feature film set around the Kwinana area.
Yeah, it was really interesting because when I actually went for the audition, I didn't go for Pinch. I went for a short film that was based, I think it was a Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica, something like that.
Yeah.
No, it was Doctor Who. It was a Doctor Who short film.
Like a fan film?
Yeah, like a fan film.
Oh, wow.
And I was going for one of the characters on that short film, but it was held at Murdoch. Mm-hmm. And there was only one sign saying auditions this way. So I followed it. I lined up. And Jeff came out. And he's like, oh, you're here to audition for Grace. I'm like, no.
Jeffrey Aslan?
Yes.
Who's the director of Pinch?
Yes, he is. Yeah. And he's like, oh, so you're here to audition for Grace. And I look at him and I'm like, no, I'm here to audition for Nina. And he looks at me like I've grown a second head. And he's like, I don't have a Nina in my film.
Yeah.
Oh, so this isn't the Doctor Who audition?
Yeah.
And no, it is not. You are down that way, down the end of the hall. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, thank you, ran off, and then he stopped me before I left, and he gave me his number and everything. He's like, oh, I'm a director, I'd love for you to audition for my feature film. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't think anything of it until once we started working on the film and we started doing interviews and all that good stuff. And he mentioned that at the time it probably seemed really, really seedy how he was like, oh, I'm a director working on a feature film here. Here's my number. I'd love for you to come audition. But it just flew completely over my head. I did not realize at the time how bad it probably sounded.
Yeah. Was it auditions at the university?
Yeah, it was at the university.
So it kind of felt like a safe space. It wasn't like you're going to some place in Northbridge down an alley.
Exactly. Yeah. Then that would have probably set off some alarm bells.
Yeah.
Then he got me back into audition, and again, I didn't think anything of it. Kind of went out of my mind because I didn't assume that I was going to get it or anything. And then he called up a few weeks later, offering me the role. And I feel really bad because I kind of forgot who he was.
Yeah.
So he's on the phone to me saying, oh, yeah, I'd love for you to be in my film. I'd love to give you the lead role. And I'm like, oh, cool, that would be awesome. And then got off the phone with him. I called my mum, and go to my mum, Mum, who was Jeff?
Yeah.
What film did I audition for, and what did I just accept? So anyway, we figured out who he was, finally. Yeah. Then started working on the film, which was pretty great.
How long did it take to shoot that film?
About 6 weeks, full time. Yeah. And
do you have rehearsal time before that?
We did. We had a few rehearsals. Yep.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a short film like let's go do it on the weekend.
No.
You're committed to 6 weeks of your life.
Yeah. Well, I actually had to transfer universities so that I could do the film.
Oh right.
I was at university at Curtin full time.
Yeah.
And I told my okay, so I was doing screen arts and performance studies. Mm-hmm. Now, my screen arts tutors, they were all fine with it. They're like, yep, great opportunity for you. And then when it came to the performance side, because I was going to be missing out about half the semester, they said, we can't sign off on it because you're not doing anything on it. Which is funny because I'm the lead female role.
Yeah, it's good work experience.
Yeah, I'm clearly doing something.
Give you a work experience credit, at least.
Exactly. So I got in touch with Jeff and I told him the situation because I didn't want to leave university. I only had one more semester left. So he worked it all out so that I could transfer to Murdoch and I could shoot the film full time and have that be my credit for the course that I was doing at Murdoch. So it worked out great. I finished off with my degree and Pinch was part of it.
And Pinch actually, it won Best Film at the WA Screen Awards, right?
It
Best
did.
Feature Film,
yeah.
And beat out like a Sam Worthington $4 million budget.
That was really exciting, yeah.
Did you get to go to that?
No.
The awards night?
Oh, yeah, the awards night. I was there, yeah. That was really fun. That was actually my first awards night.
Okay.
Funnily enough. And, we just happened to win, so...
You were just going for the free booze.
I was.
Oh, wow, we won.
What can I say? All that free champagne.
Yeah. And so what, what kind of publicity, have you had to do any publicity for that post?
Not really so much. It's kind of under wraps at the moment with what we're doing with it further. Yeah. Jeff has got some stuff planned that I can't really talk about, unfortunately, because I don't even know all the details. But he's
but people listening this right now, maybe in the future, but they can't just go on Netflix and on iTunes and rent it and watch it. Oh, okay.
No, unfortunately not. He's got something cooking up in his head, so we'll see what happens from here.
It was pretty exciting. I went to this screening at Cinefest. Oh, I didn't know anything about it. I just heard that, this is really cool, low-budget feature film was here that was actually made in WA, and I was like, I would like to make a low-budget feature film in WA one day, so I wanted to go check it out. So I was down there for like meetings and stuff like that, so I abandoned some of them just to go to the screening, and I met some cool people down there at the screening because all the cool kids went. And I later met you at the after party. I was like, oh my god, what the hell are you guys doing here? Now, I have written down here for the podcast your thoughts on Pokemon Go. Because have I got this wrong, but you're a big Pokemon fan?
I am, which is why... Okay. I'm sort of on the fence with Pokemon Go. which might be a bit controversial, because on one hand, I love what it's doing for people. Like, people are getting out there. People are socializing.
Yeah.
I read a post that one of my friends wrote on Facebook about how, you know, women and she herself don't feel as fearful walking around at night because there's this sense of community now with Pokemon Go. Strangers, that sounds really bad. do not use this to lure women away. Yeah. But no, it's bringing a sense of community together, and there's less fear walking around at night because there are like-minded people who are just out there to have fun, going around. So you would assume that it's becoming fairly safer.
Yeah.
Now, my issue with Pokemon Go is I grew up on the games, I grew up with the show, and on Pokemon Go, what I've seen of it so far, I know that there's gyms and you can battle the gym people there.
Is that gym as in gymnasium?
Yeah,
not
the gym
gem as in Ruby?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So you can go and you can battle the gym leader, but when you're out there catching Pokemon, all you do is throw the ball at them.
So you've been doing this?
I have. I've played a little bit, and this is what's bugging me. So you throw the Pokeball at the Pokemon, and it'll either stay in the ball or it'll come out, and then you keep throwing the Pokeball. But the thing is, you're going to have to weaken it somehow. You don't just go out and expect to catch a Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You need to battle it. You need to weaken it so that it can't break out of the Pokeball.
Yeah.
See, getting very technical here now.
So normally in your traditional Pokemon game, how are you collecting them?
So you start off with a starter, and then you use your starter to battle other Pokemon, catch other Pokemon, and they get stronger. And
but are you walking around a virtual world in the game?
Yes.
How do you find them? Or do they just show up on your screen?
Oh, you just go into tall grass, or you go into caves.
Yeah, okay. So it's sort of an open world game.
Yeah, it is. Don't do that in real life. Don't go into caves. So, yeah, there's a sense of battling the Pokemon, whereas with Pokemon Go, there's no battling it. I think there's something to do with berries. You can make them happier with berries. I haven't got to that stage yet. I'm a level 2, I think. It's embarrassing. But in saying that, I don't have time to play it because whenever my partner and I are driving around, he's always shotgun, so he's collecting the Pokemon while I'm driving around like a chauffeur, and I'm getting told, oh, quick, turn right here. This isn't our street. Go right, damn it. So
you're meant to get out and walk, though, aren't you?
Yeah, if you want to be healthy, you do.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so you're trying to get... So you literally... Yeah. So you're saying you're just driving somewhere and you're like, stop, or you literally got in the car specifically to go Pokemon hunting?
No, it hasn't got to that point yet, thank goodness. I think it will eventually. He's really into Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just driving around whenever we actually need to go somewhere.
Okay.
So...
What was your first Pokemon game?
Oh, my first Pokemon game. I got onto it quite late. See, back when Game Boy was all the rage, I played Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
So Pokemon wasn't really my thing at the time, even though I watched the anime. But my first real Pokemon game, I think, was... Oh, what was it? The ones before... I think it was Platinum?
Yeah.
I know Dialga was the Pokemon of the game, like the main kind of one. I'm just trying to remember what was it called?
Was it a DS or was it a
Game
Boy
DS.
Color or
No,
Game Boy
Advance? It was a DS.
Yeah, okay.
So, oh my gosh, I cannot for the love of me remember, but it was Platinum, and then the one that came before Platinum, the two that came before Platinum. It's not Sapphire, but it was blue.
Yeah, okay. I remember they had blue and red back in the day on the original Game Boy.
Yeah, and then yellow.
I never got involved either.
Yeah.
I missed it. At high school, they used to... A huge group of people played the Pokemon card game.
Oh, yeah.
And they collect the cards.
Yeah.
I played some Magic. And I played a bit of Magic, but I was busy chasing girls by that point. So.
Probably easy to catch than Pokemon.
I wish. You also wanted to ask you about your background.
My background?
You're just nearby me at the reading and you started speaking Russian into a phone.
I did.
I was like, is she a spy? Do I have to reply to her?
Yes, I am. Oh, damn it. Got caught.
Yeah.
No, I'm originally from Russia. We moved here when I was 6. So
where in Russia?
Polevskoy.
Okay.
It's near the Ural Mountains.
Okay, so in the towards the European side of...
Yeah, I think it's this is
The Ural
so bad.
Mountains is where the divide between
Yeah,
European Russia and
Yeah.
Asian Russia.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. That's where I'm
Which
from.
side are you from?
Which side?
Are you on the European side of the Ural Mountains or the Asian side?
No, I'm from the European side.
Okay.
Otherwise, I could be Asian by birth.
All right.
Yeah.
So you do have any memories from that?
Yeah, I do remember quite a bit of my childhood, surprisingly. I grew up with She-Ra and
Mhm.
He-Man, but see, She-Ra was my absolute role model, and I've still got video cassette tapes of that cartoon.
In Russian?
Yeah, in Russian.
Okay.
And it stresses me out because I tried to, relive the nostalgia, and I tried to YouTube it and Google it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to the show in English, and I can't do it.
It's just not the same.
It's not. It's destroying my childhood.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's sort of like I had to get used to The Little Mermaid in English because I grew up with it in Russian.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So,
That
yeah.
would be weird.
Yeah, it's weird watching childhood shows that you
Yeah.
grew up with in another language
Mm-hmm.
because all the character voices are different and everything's different. So
So The Little Mermaid,
Mhm.
did the songs that rhyme in Russian
Yes.
as well?
Yes,
So they've
they-
actually thought that it's not a direct translation?
no, they've rewritten it somewhat, but it's still around the same theme and still has similar dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you came straight to Perth?
Yes. My mum met my dad, and we came to live with him here.
Oh, your dad is Australian.
Yeah, my dad's Australian.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because you have a very, you couldn't pick that you're Russian.
Yeah?
You haven't held. Obviously, if you start speaking Russian, maybe you have
Yeah,
quite
but-
a neutral accent.
Yeah.
It's probably good for acting.
It is. Although some people still say that they can pick up some kind of accent.
All right.
Which
I
is
would guess maybe British or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But no, they say it's some area in Europe. So
Yeah, maybe. I get
know.
a little
I
bit
don't
of
hear it.
Eastern Europe, maybe.
Yeah? Huh.
Okay. And you also are a teacher,
I am. Yes.
and you teach high school students.
I do.
And how do you balance acting and teaching?
Well, it's very interesting because they all Googled me.
All right.
Yeah, they cracked my first name. They Googled me, although, bless them, my year 8s,
Yeah.
because they know me as Miss Hand, they don't know my first name,
Mm-hmm.
even though we're supposed to wear a badge.
Yeah.
Oops. They didn't know my first name, so they just Googled Mrs. Hand, and all it came up with was pictures of hands everywhere, and I'm like, oh, guys, you tried.
Yeah.
Bless your souls, you tried. But no, it was really, really interesting because when they found out, then it kind of spread through like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've still got students coming up and saying, oh my God, Miss, you're in films. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets a little bit stressful when they use that to get off topic in class.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach because I teach English and I'm starting with drama next semester. And I also do a bit of relief in the school. So
Yeah.
whenever I'm doing relief, I've got students asking me about the film and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm like, okay, guys, you can ask me after class. You can ask me in your free time. But right now, let's just focus on what we're doing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I should say that people who don't know, you're quite young. You're not
Oh, yes.
in your late 30s.
No, I'm not.
Playing older roles. You're playing, in Pinch, you're playing a high school.
Yeah. Grace is 15, 16.
Yeah. So you're playing the same age as them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really awkward because I keep getting told, Miss, you look like you're 18.
Yeah.
And while on one hand, for acting, that's a huge compliment. I'm like, yes, I look so young.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm like, no, I need to have authority over you guys.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. So, yes, it can get very interesting.
Okay. Because I imagine if I was that age and I had a teacher who was like, a beautiful actress, I would be doing everything to Google the hell out of them. Just be like going to depths and to pirate things or whatever it's called.
Yes, thankfully,
Yeah.
because Pinch hasn't been released to the public, they can't find that.
Yeah.
Which is great. I don't know. I feel like I'd be very weirded out if my students watched my work.
Yeah.
Because that's not the side of me that they know. They know me as a teacher.
Yeah.
So.
But you've been teaching, I think, English, but you're finally actually teaching drama.
Yes, I'm getting onto drama now.
And you've got, and that does that bring any more attention? Like, well, what do you know about drama?
No, not yet. I've had a few kids who know that they're going to be in my class come up to me and they're really excited. They're like, Miss, we're in your drama class next term. And no, that's about it. They're very excited, which is really good for me, and I'm really excited because, you know, these kids, they could be the future performers. They're going to be the future filmmakers and future actors and actresses. So I really hope that I can instill that passion in them at a young age and make them realize that, you know, performing is really fun, and it's a really good way of building confidence and building speaking skills and projection, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to get into drama.
Yeah. So you got that for the whole semester?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
But you haven't got any plans, like you don't have some crazy plans, like you're going to be like Jeffrey Aslan, who's going to turn the film class into a feature filmmaking program or something?
Probably not. I don't know how much I would trust year 7s with $4,000 equipment.
Yeah.
So probably not. I think we're just going to learn fundamental acting techniques.
Yeah.
Focus on that.
So what in terms of the future of acting, like what do you still go for auditions?
Oh yeah, definitely. My agent's been putting me up for some stuff in the States, and I've got plans later on to try to break into the East Coast scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, just going with the flow at the moment, seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? Like, do you have to record audition tapes and then send them?
Yes.
Videos.
Self-tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go off to the States. Not much has come through from the East at the moment, so I'm hoping to get over there sometime and just, you know, network, introduce myself around, get my face out there. Also finding a manager from the States would be a definite priority on the list. Yeah. Because they're the ones that sort of, you know, push you towards things and really, really promote you. So having a manager in the States would be really, really good. So,
it's good to hear because I was just going back to how what we worked on was this, you know, volunteer reading, and it was very clear to me that you had actually thought things through. Did you read the screenplay before the actual rehearsal?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so you really had sort of interpreted the character. And
and I really like the character. I really hope you do something with it.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
It's a really unique story. You know, I haven't seen something like that before. I haven't even read something like that before. Yeah. I mean, it's got bits and pieces that resonate with a bunch of different genres, but yeah, overall, in the package that it's in, I've never seen something like that, and that's I think what drew me to your script so much. That's what made me really want to be a reader, and the character herself, you know, there are so many dimensions to her, and that's what I normally look for in any kind of characters. Do they have dimension? Do they have different, do they have a story? Do they change throughout the work? And it's clear in your script that she does. Yeah. So that was a really, really good experience.
Yeah, it's hard. That was the best part of that whole thing was not the actual performance where we read it in front of us, was actually the rehearsal, just seeing how people interpreted it. Yeah. Because it was like they have no directions, they're just interpreting the characters how they read off the page. And, you know, it's kind of like, as a director, I'm sitting there going, I should change that, but then you don't really have time, so you're just like, let's just see how the writing stands up itself and see how the writing actually gave the actors the information they need to create a character. Yeah. And some people did better than others, so I'm like, well, I have to go change certain things. But that was really cool. Do you ever go looking for scripts?
I'm ashamed to say I don't.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not sure how.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That sounds really, really bad. Like,
But you're not
no
sitting
idea what
there.
I'm
You're
doing.
not. I know some actors get frustrated and they're like, "Well, I need to find something
Yeah.
that suits me that I know or I need. So I'm going to either write it myself or get someone else to write it, or go out and try and find material so that I have something good to go on my show reel." I don't know if that's...
No, not so much. I mean, I've definitely got my own ideas and my own stories that I'd love to tell, but they're all just kind of sitting in a journal at the moment. They've not been pushed any further apart from jotting down ideas on the page.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I do, but only so many of them would be interesting to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my mind, I've created this whole world and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fantastic, but I don't know if other people would be interested in it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
So you're 6 years old and you're coming to Australia from Russia, and but I guess, are you dual lingual because you're speaking to your dad in English?
No, when I came here, I could not speak English.
Oh, right.
And that was
So
really
did your dad
awkward.
speak Russian?
No. My mum took English lessons.
Yeah.
And then I was learning from her, but...
So how did you speak to your dad?
I just kind of communicated the best way that I could.
Okay.
He kind of picked up on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But then going to school, I learned from school as well. I don't remember getting any English lessons specifically.
Yeah.
Like, because my mum went to TAFE to learn English.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing anything like that.
Did you just go and get dropped into a normal primary
yeah,
school?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yep. And then I couldn't understand anyone, and no one would want to talk to me, and all the kids thought I was weird. That was fun. That was fun for my 6-year-old self.
That would be a good idea if you're picking stories to choose from. I would want to see something about that.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to feel sort of fit in?
As soon as I started picking up on the English language, that was sort of when I started breaking down barriers. And funnily enough, it didn't take me very long. I really like languages. I love learning languages in general. So it didn't take me long to pick up. But then when I finally did, I was the top English speaker in the class.
Yeah.
So, that was very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Although that actually reminds me of a really funny time when I was in high school. I was in year 10 and we had our mock exams. And obviously on my file it says, I'm Russian, I've got a Russian background. And I think the examiners, air bunnies, air quotations, examiners, they assumed that I wasn't very good at English because they decided to give me an extra half hour on my exam.
Yeah.
And I came home and I told my mum, and my mum cracked up and my dad cracked up because I was in the top percent of English students. I'm really good at English. I know how to speak. I speak well. I write really well. And they assumed because of looking at my file, they assumed because I have a Russian background, I clearly need more time because I don't understand the questions as well as others.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
So do you, you're fluent Russian, do you read in Russian?
No, I really want to start. My mum reads and, she's always cracking up at her books, so I'd love to definitely borrow some of her
you can read War
books.
and Peace in its original language and stuff like
that'd be so amazing. I don't think I'm at that level yet.
Do you ever go watch weird Russian stuff?
Yeah, I still watch Russian films. I've got films from Russia and video cassette tapes of my favorite show from when I was a kid. So I still watch those. I'd love to start reading a lot more because I've lost that ability a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be at a grade 5 level of reading at the moment.
Yeah. And do you still have family over there? Have you gone back?
We went back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think I was 10 last time I went there, and I'd love to go back. My mum had to go back when my grandfather passed away for his funeral and everything, and we sold our apartment from when we were living there, which is a little bit sad. I would have liked to go see it one last time. But, yeah, I'd definitely love to go back.
Yeah.
The politics are a little bit skewy at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Mm.
I really want to go to St. Petersburg and see
Mm.
Catherine Palace, but I'm scared, terrified.
Yeah.
of, like, you know, apparently it's a bit off the beaten path from like the Winter Palace, so you have to.
People can be not very friendly
Yeah.
sometimes. They don't think they like tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to go in, I think it was 2006, but I ended up freaking out and just going to Venice instead.
Mm.
Didn't really like Venice. But
Yeah. It's a beautiful country.
yeah.
I always say, I love my country. I miss
Yeah.
my home for the countryside, for
Yeah.
the actual
Mhm.
country itself. Not for the people, not for the politics, not for the government. I miss the country itself.
Yeah.
Because the country itself is so beautiful. My mom's got photos of when we were living there, and we're in the forest and we're in the snow, and they're so beautiful. It looks like something out of a fairy tale book.
Yeah.
And I miss that.
Yeah.
It's very, very different to Australia.
Yeah. I'm a big space nerd, so I see follow a lot of the Russian space industry. Although I think they still, at the moment, they launch from Kazakhstan because they haven't moved the launch thing since the fall of the Soviet Empire. But I would go there just to go to see the equivalent of like the NASA museums and stuff like that. It would be like I could spend a week just walking around old relics of the space race and stuff like that. They have just old space shuttles just sitting around because they, once the Soviet Empire fell, they just put them in storage because they couldn't afford to keep running them, and it would be amazing just to walk around these artifacts of the Cold War and stuff like that. So wrapping up, what is? I guess I know you're on Twitter. Do you want to give out your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
Sure thing. What is my Twitter handle?
I have it written down.
Oh,
I just wasn't sure if you want to give it out.
Yeah, go for it.
It's Alla_hand.
Yep, and that's Alla with an A, A-L-L-A, not Ella, like I get a lot.
All right. L-R.
Yeah, Ella. I get Ella.
Oh, okay, Ella.
Yeah, I get
okay.
Ella, I get Ali, Alison, Alana. Every A name under the sun.
Yeah.
That just set me up for a bad pun.
Is Hand a real name?
Yes, that's
okay.
my surname.
Is that right? That's an Australian name from your father?
Yeah, that's my dad's surname. My Russian surname, or my mum's maiden name, was Grigorieva.
Yeah.
But people find that too hard to pronounce.
Oh, right.
I was going to use that as my
stage name
and everything, but my mum thought that wouldn't be a very good idea just because people would have a hard time figuring out how to spell and pronounce that.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, yeah.
I guess if you wanted to go to Europe and sound exotic, and maybe you could do both.
I could.
Yeah.
I could. For Russian credits, that could be Alla Grigorieva.
Yeah.
And then for every English-speaking credit, Alla Hand.
Yeah.
Although it would be Alla Anderson eventually.
Oh, really? You're engaged?
No, I'm waiting for it though.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a superhero name. Yes.
Hot goss.
Surprise, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
No, all my friends keep saying
So you would
that.
change your name?
Yeah, I would. Just because Alla Anderson sounds like a really cool superhero name.
Okay, so what would you keep? What would you use your stage name then?
Probably Alla Anderson. I don't know. I haven't thought this far ahead.
I would be daydreaming about this all the time. Oh, well, thanks, Alla, for coming on.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for volunteering to do my reading.
No worries. Love to do it again once you finish it all off.
Yep. Sounds good. I'll send you the next draft or something like that.
Be great. Looking forward to it actually being a production.
Yeah. I have concerns about that. I feel like it's like many years away.
No.
As it probably should be, but it's hard to think about things that are so far in the future.
Film is like that, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
All we ever see is the final version. We don't actually realise how long it took to get there.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you around.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.